Sometimes I'll just go up to your speaker system and just like literally be right next to it. Earplugs fully push in, just like I'm getting a massage right now.
For sure.
I can't do that anywhere else.
No, they call it bass therapy.
Poducer.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Poducer, the podcast for producers. Today, we're joined by Beatdown Sound.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Chef Chux.
Kinky P.
What do you guys do? What do you guys? That's such a broad question, and I'd try to elicit some weird answer.
With the sound system or in general?
Yeah, either.
Okay, well, so I'm Chef Chux because I cook for a living, private chef for a family. And on our spare time, we throw underground sound system sessions on the south side of Chicago.
And they're some of my favorite shows in the city.
Thank you.
I'm not even just like, they're so fun.
Yeah, they're intimate. They're nice. It's different than a club or...
It's like I always say the best parties are house parties.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that, but with like a banging system.
True story.
And also, normally the biggest downfall to house parties is they got like a Bluetooth speaker and you're just like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
No proper sound. My name is Selectress Kinky P. I am Reggae Selectress, Reggae Dub Selectress, and I am an art teacher. I work for a company that provides arts integration classes for underprivileged communities in Chicago.
Very cool. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Dope. All right, guys. Well, I always start the show with like this boilerplate question, which is, what was your first concert? And you guys can each go. Maybe it's the same concert.
No. You go first.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know mine for sure. It was 1993 at the China Club in Chicago, which is no longer exists and it's no longer around. And it was Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, and Souls of Mischief.
Dang.
Yeah, so this is 1993. And yeah, I mean, Tribe Called Quest had the entire place just jumping. They probably should have headlined. I think De La played last. Well, De La did play last. But Tribe Called Quest it was just massive. Everybody was just jumping as one. If you didn't even if you didn't want to jump, you were just, it was so tight, and just the whole entire room was, hands in the air and stuff. It was great. So that was my first concert. Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember.
Maybe early concert, like one of the ones you remember.
Well, when I was a teenager back in Baja, California, I saw a lot of like punk bands and rock en español and regional norteño music and that type of live music.
Los Lonely Boys. I don't know. I love Los Lonely Boys. I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah, like more like norteño with accordion type stuff. But yeah, lots of punk, lots of rock, and I went to some like the Pixies and like Smashing Pumpkins and that type of stuff. But that was here already, and that's beside all of the other reggae concerts that I went to.
Okay. All right. Well, those are both good answers. I'll accept them.
Okay. Thank you.
A plus.
Right on.
I also wanted to ask kind of about like, what was the first dub concert where you guys got into the thing that you're now, supporting and kind of, that's become a lifestyle for you?
Yeah, probably Notting Hill Carnival.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, a friend of ours, Claudine, knew we were kind of into hip hop and just sort of reggae and things. She's like, you guys would love this big festival in London, Notting Hill, London. It's called Carnival, and they put 40 sound systems on the street, and it's just, well, it's something to see. And we went. I'm trying to think what the first year was. It 2007 or 4?
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah, something like that. 2006 or 7. And yeah, seeing Carnival is just, it's another, you should go. I mean, it'll change your life.
So the reason my reaction was like that is because I recently went to England, to London, and it was the day after Carnival ended.
Oh, we were there.
And I was
oh,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I was because when I went to one of your shows, I think it was like D2
Okay.
and if that's how you
Tunic
say it.
and those guys.
Yeah. And they were telling me like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to London. They were like, I was like, where should I go? And they're like, you got to go to Carnival.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I don't think I'm going to be there and I'm sad. So next time.
Yeah, especially because it has, of course, it has any type of genre within reggae and dub, but it also has a lot of other stuff like drum and bass, and then there's house, and there's the Caribbean. So there's a lot of different music, and you can have a lot of fun going through all of the different types and find out who's playing. And
I've heard it's like mayhem, and also it's super hard to get around. It's like like one block will take you like an hour.
Maybe not that long, but yeah, it's tight
on the streets.
Yeah. And there's also pre-carnival sessions that you go to, as far as you said, like dub. So like we've been to like King Earthquake in Brixton, Mass. So it's like in an old abandoned church in the basement. Channel 1 usually plays a pre-session. We've seen Josh Shaka a few times.
So besides going to the carnival, there's a lot of pre-carnival events.
Dances,
so we try to get there a couple days earlier, and you just go to sessions afterwards, before, after, and again.
Do you guys try to go every year? Is this something that's, or just?
Well, we were discussing that it would be, we should make it a must to make the pilgrimage to London every year, and try to do that, because all of the people that you meet finally in person, we have lots of friends online through either the radio show that I play every other Sunday, Rio Roots Radio out of London. So finally meeting people there, and all of the people that we're friends with because of the sound and the sound community that we're part of worldwide, you finally get to meet all of them in the same city, in the same sessions, and you see each other the next day, and you just crew up and make it a real friendship and a real thing.
Yeah, because like internet friends is great. It's great, but you got to like actually touch people sometimes to get the full effect. Mm-hmm. So what was it about Carnival that just, because then, I mean, I don't know exactly how long it is after that to acquiring a sound system, but like, what is it about that type of music, sound system music? Yo, what's up, guys? This is your host, Jerry. Before we get into today's episode, I'd just like to ask you to please go and engage with the podcast. If you can leave a review, if you're listening on a podcast platform like Apple or Spotify, hit that 5-star button. You can leave comments now. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if you can on Apple, but you can on Spotify. But yeah, all of that, just that engagement really helps me, because we're trying to get into the algorithm, that pesky algorithm that we're all trying to fight. If you guys are listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know if there's any artists that you'd like to see on the show. Maybe I can make that happen. I know I'm probably being annoying, but you gotta do it, and you can go do it right now. Like, it's right on your phone. You can just push the button. Anyway, let's get back to today's episode. Thank you for listening. Love you. Peace.
I think it's the message. I think it's the feeling you get. Like sound system, it's physical. Like you actually feel it. And I kind of grew up. I still am. In the hip hop. And hip hop in the 80s, 90s, back in my day, but the music they had a message, it was kind of like, say no to drugs, or, let's, keep the peace, stop the violence. And then it just became something which I don't know if it's really hip hop or not. In my definition, it would not. So I just think, as far as like sound system, it's positive, it's music with a message, it's community, and yeah, it's just, and the vibes are so high, it's spiritual, it's kind of meditative, you just kind of could close your eyes and just kind of get lost in and it's not all about bass. It's not just like boom, boom, boom. I mean, the bass is great and it needs to be there. It's important. But, I think overall, it's the whole entire vibe of the room, and the space, and again the crowd. It just makes it something for me. I just think it's so special and so cool.
For sure.
And it's like the whole package of, you have the Selector, you have the stack, you have their Dubplates and their style of the sound system, music that they're gonna play. So it comes all together. Hearing your favorite tunes in an amplified sound that is well crafted and well tuned, and and they sound great. It makes the whole experience. And being part of that community, being part of that dance in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the artists and a lot of the selectors, a lot of the sound systems might not last forever. A lot of people are getting older, and we're losing a lot of artists. So it's important to continue to go to these dances, to continue to go to reggae concerts and listen to these people live.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how we got into sound system, it, wasn't necessarily after our first trip to Carnival that we thought, we need to build a sound. We were kind of hooked on it, but it was really coming home from Barcelona at International Dub Gathering. It's another festival in Spain, and that really, on the plane ride home, we just sort of looked at each other and like, all right, let's we got to build a sound. You know what I mean? Like, enough. So it wasn't just necessarily we were there and we're like, okay, we have to do this, because it's complicated, and we can get into this later, but it's not. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of money. But it was after actually International Dub Gathering in
2017, I think.
That when we decided, okay, let's do this. I think 17, 16, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, actually, I think we have it wrong. I think it's like 2014, because we already did it. By 2016, we talked to Spoxman. We have to look it up.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
So you guys are, at least you're getting steeped in the scene. You're like meeting people and all of that. And it's something that you're, what's the word, like congregating around.
Sure. Yeah. And again, other cities, we were traveling. We went to New York to see Channel One with Dubstyle. And been to Sicily at sound system sessions. So it's kind of like each country or city does their thing different, It's really interesting to me too, because when I think of dub, I think of dubstep. And that is just because I am not, I'm only 30. I grew up on YouTube listening to like UKF, and I was like, this is crazy. And it's definitely a different sound. And I just think it's so cool that you guys are like so aware and like knowledgeable about this. And that's why I really want to sit down with you guys and just like talk about it. Because you guys talk about the greats and you name some people, and I'm like, I wish I knew who these people were. Fair enough.
So I think that there's an important history in this that, all of the dubstep is built on, and just a lot of other genres are built on. And I think it's important for people to, learn that at some point. I don't know. I'm not trying to say you guys are like scholars on the subject.
By no means, no. Yeah.
But I mean, if you could break it down just in like a general sense, like where does dub come from, and how did it begin? Do we know?
How did it begin? Okay, so we have you had like two prominent reggae music producers that are the pioneers of dub, in my opinion. I don't know, I don't have the stories of like who specifically farted in the studio at some point, but I can tell you some of the things. So for example, there's, Lee Scratch Perry and King Tubby.
Okay.
They're sound engineers. They produced a lot of music. They had a lot of bands in their studio. And dub, these engineers, they started to make their own, produce their own tracks and add reverb, add echoes. They started to sample a lot of different sounds, from babies to animals and thunder and rain, especially Lee Scratch Perry. So if it wasn't for having a mixing board and them being able to record each sound, each instrument, and then later on add the vocals, I think dub probably wouldn't happen. And the stories that have been passed down go that there was an accidental recording of an instrumental track on the B side of a 7-inch that was put out by the Paragons in 1967. And from this instrumental track being played at a dance, toasters came up on the microphone and started chanting their own tune on it, and they kept on playing it over and over. And eventually, after 1972 is when dub started to appear in these instrumental tracks.
Yeah, they had the vocal version, and the B-side would just be the dub, and it would just be so the engineer manipulating the tune. So you'd have the vocal just like a clean, like say even like a Bob Marley song or something like that, whatever. And then you'd flip it over and there'd just be the dub, and it would just be that producer, say King Tubby or whomever, just dubbing out. So like effects and just noises and echoes and
tape echo.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was all probably tape and stuff.
For sure.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, right, that's when.
Yeah, and just things evolutionized and started getting, they started adding more effects, manipulating the sounds some more, and that's the thing about island life in Jamaica. Like a lot of people, King Tubby, he used to fix speakers, he used to fix electronics, and he would help other sound systems and help him with gear as well. So he would build his own instruments to dub out. It's like we were talking about dub sirens earlier. That's not something that was not you could not go buy at a Target or at a store. So people were making their own little sound machines so that they could add something different for the sound system sessions and elevate the song. So yeah,
there's so much to get into, and I don't even know where to start.
We're just scratching the surface on that. I think that it's reggae is one of the most fastest growing genres ever. Like rocksteady was only for a couple years, and then it was ska, and you have reggae and roots and dancehall, and just coming and coming and coming, and there's more genres now.
Would reggae be the genre or like the umbrella term? Like, because dub, that's just more the actual like dub. Like it came from
manipulating sound and adding effects. And
the idea of taking the track and then manipulating it.
Make it ambience, more meditative.
But
there is a lot of meditativeness, yeah.
Like it's more of a more meditative experience.
But I think under the umbrella of reggae music, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's safe to say.
Okay.
But before reggae, there was
ska.
There was ska. There was mento. There was calypso. There was.
Right. Okay. I'm familiar with calypso. Ska. I just think of like kind of punky Californian. Is that similar to the same type of ska?
Yeah. I mean, it was UK, I guess.
Two-tone, but yeah, like the a lot of the bands started as a ska band, then rocksteady, then they moved into reggae. So they also like
it was like rebel music, right, or something.
They also kept on changing.
Speaking of rebel music, like I've heard that the dub games, so to speak, in Jamaica, they can be exclusive in some ways. That they're people will have specific tracks and they don't want other people to have them. They'll even do things like scratch them and do.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
That's a thing.
It's so King Tubby had his own studio, and so he would record a lot of musicians and a lot of tracks for people. So he had the advantage of that. He had the advantage of having dubs that he recorded for other artists that that they hadn't come out yet. So he had access to that, and he was able to play those at the dances. So yes, one of the main things about this the sound system community is having exclusives and having a sound that nobody else has, and trying to hunt down those vinyls that are only being pressed that are only 300 of them worldwide, or When somebody comes out with a dub plate and they're like 24 hours, only 24 hours, you want those exclusives. You want to sound you want to sound different. You want to have.
You don't want to sound like the next sound, you know. You again, not if you're familiar with what a dub plate is. So again, you have these artists, and you try to get your own dub plates, so specials. Have them just, they're saying Beatdown Sound. We have, I don't know how many, quite a handful, and you play them, and it's just nobody has it. So it's like we're the only one playing our, Mungo's Eva dub plate, and it's a killer. And again, maybe somebody else has it, but again, they're saying Beatdown Sound. I don't know if you've heard any of the dub plates we've played at our shows. So again, yeah, it's all about trying to be unique and different. Whether it's graffiti or skateboarding or breakdancing. Everyone could do a helicopter, everyone could do this, but it's like, man, you have to put your own kind of take on it. So we're trying to sound. We don't want to sound like anybody. We don't want to sound like the UK guys. We don't want to sound like the New York guys. We don't want to sound like the LA guys. We're a Chicago sound, and we're going to do it our way. Not that means incorporating house or anything like that, but just regardless, we want to stand out and just be, a little different than everybody. As different as we can be.
Yeah, no, I think it is always about putting that extra flavor on that's like your signature sound. I also wanted to just ask quickly about because I feel like I talk to people and I try to get like a little like, oh, let's talk about this. Then maybe they know one thing, maybe, but I feel like you guys are such a wealth of knowledge. The acetate records, was that just a means to make cheap records, or was because I've just heard that a lot of dubs end up on acetate, and I'm just like, I don't even know what that is. Do you guys know much about this either?
I don't know much about acetate. Is that a cheaper,
I think it's
thinner
cheaper
version, right?
Yeah.
So what I do know is that there is been a shortage of factories where you can press vinyl, and there was a fire of some sort, and there is a lack of certain machines and type of material to press vinyl. So there's a shortage of that. That's the only thing I know.
This is current shortage.
But I also think the reason why people were pressing up their own vinyls is because this was before MP3s or CDJs. So you had to have it. You had to have it cut on something. So I think they cut it on acetate because they needed to play it in the dance, later that night, next week. And so there was no, now if we get something sent from wherever, we have a WAV file. It's up to us if we want to press it up, or we just play it digitally, and save some time and money. But I think back then, perhaps, like for instance, like, Strider, these guys, they want it all. They want the test presses and the acetates, and where we're not strictly vinyl. We'll play digital, or MP3 or whatever waves. And
so I actually didn't know this. So you guys are making your own vinyls, and are these are you like a record label in that sense? Like, are you getting people to make music for you, or are these?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're working on that, but we do have, like I said, we do have some exclusives of things that people don't have, that were given to us by artists, or we have dub specials where people shout out our name and the name of our sound system, and so yeah, we have that type of stuff. But we are in the midst of talking about that, of
starting a label,
and doing and pushing music that way as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk also about kind of the structure of a typical sound system. You were talking about an operator. I didn't even know what that was. What all do you need there to have your stereotypical sound system, Jamaican style?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I don't know.
I mean, I suppose it starts with the boxes, right? You need speaker boxes. Yeah, and it depends how you want to run yours. We run ours 5-way. So we have subs, which is the bass. We have low mids, horns, tweeters. So we run it 5-way. So, and the operator then would take the preamp. That's, I guess, another piece of equipment. And so
an expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. And so if Patty plays a record from 1982, you have to manipulate it a little bit more because the highs might be kind of hissy. So you turn that down. You might have to, increase the bass a little bit to have it dialed in so it's perfect. Whereas if Buka sends us a WAV file that's going to sound completely different than, a tune from 82. So I have to turn down the bass or whatever a little bit because it's just so beefy. You have your speaker boxes, and then, your drivers on the inside. And again, you can get as low as you want or high end, whatever. I guess we're maybe in the middle. And yeah, cables.
You need your dub siren.
Dub siren. We're going to talk about that. You need a
microphone.
For
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And the way we do
Dubplates.
Yeah. And we sort of run ours where if we were in quote unquote, in session, Patty would be selecting, and not to say that I wouldn't, play a tune, but Patty would select and I kind of operate and I would, make sure it sounded proper and nothing was coming in too hot or peaking. And then also when we get to Sirens, again, same thing, she has her Sirens as well. I have some over here and it's kind of, you just
a team effort.
Yeah.
So you need
you need box
2 people.
There are people that are one-man show like Abashanti. He's by himself doing the whole thing by himself. Channel 1, he does have somebody who's on the microphone.
And he's got a crew of people helping.
He's operating and he's selecting his own tunes. King Shiloh as well. A lot of people are by themselves. We took onto this journey together, so
that's nice that you got each other. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That really helps out.
Yeah.
Especially in this business when there's too many cooks in the kitchen. They don't, some sound systems struggle a lot when there's a lot of people. Some people might not want to do what the other person wants to do. And so
people get older, start having, whatever.
And they have this sound system together.
Correct.
It's literally their baby.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's too much responsibility.
Who gets what speakers?
Yeah. Too much investment to really share with somebody who are, it's with a bunch of people as a crew.
Gotcha.
But that's just our opinion.
It makes sense. Yeah.
It works out for others, like Mongo's Hi-Fi has done, have been together for a very long time. Although I feel like a lot of sound systems, it works out because they kind of each member has their own little stack and then they bring it together and it's
form the Megazord.
32 bases,
So what's the priciest part of it? Is it the speakers? Is it the amps?
Everything. There's never
everything's
ending.
expensive.
It's never ending. There's always going to be more and more things.
Because you can keep adding.
Yeah,
too,
but
right?
to answer your question, amplifiers are very expensive, especially the ones we use. So we need 3 different amplifiers. So one is just in charge of pushing the bass. Then the middle one does basically the low mids and mids, and then we have a third one that just does the tops, would be the horns and the tweeters.
And that's just the way we have our setup. Everybody else is going to have it different.
But sure. And then the drivers. So I just blew.
Oh no!
Right, yeah. Well, I've blown 6 already. But because we first got the sound system, I was trying to push it to kind of show off or whatever, and we'd blow bass speakers. I would physically blow bass speakers. But the other day, or maybe a couple months ago, we were downstairs and we're just pushing the sound and we're having some fun, listening to new records, and something is just kind of buzzing, and so we kind of isolated it and we realized that one of the drivers was blown, and I forgot we had a show the next in a week or something. I think it was a sub club actually, so had to again
rush,
call up Parts Express or whatever and get in the particular driver we use, the BNC, and it's again, $500 or whatever, $600, whatever it was, but
just for
one
driver, not the cabinet.
No,
because I know some people are going to be listening to this and they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the picture. So
yeah.
This one right here. This one right here just went out. Actually.
This was actually important to where these people could understand.
So if you point to one of the bottom ones there, that's that one right there. Yep. It would be the little square on the red square. That's so. Yeah, and just add that to everything. But no, the preamp is expensive. The cables we
are they
use.
tube? I forget. Or are they solid state or?
Yeah, they're not tube. Yeah,
they're not tube. Because tube that seems insane.
Yeah, I think that's kind of old school. Again, constantly buying new records, new music, but yeah, microphones aren't.
Stuff's expensive. Yeah. Also, dub sirens though.
Yeah.
Because partly this is for me to be expensive. I want to get a dub siren that I could just have right here. Just be like, someone says something crazy, I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, the thing is with dub sirens, again, maybe Patty could speak.
Dub sirens meant for dub and reggae music.
Not
So
for podcasts.
Wilkes, don't get any ideas and start just taking little things from the reggae scene into your dubstep stuff.
It's too late. I get what you're saying, though.
But so we have, I think, 5 different ones, and they all do something different. And Patty, when she does her radio show, she has one that she uses, and that she just kind of I think in general recently has really kind of been doing something that's completely different. Because I feel like a lot of people who have sirens, they just kind of they want to imitate the shot, Josh Shaka, or what Channel One does, or what they see on maybe YouTube videos or something like that. And yeah, I think we try again to just run ours different. And I also think as a scratch DJ, it's where you put them that's very important. You can't just put your the timing, and you want some open space, and so it's really kind of an art to it. I know people think I'm over there just pressing buttons for no reason, but it does have meaning and purpose, and there's a rhyme and reason to it. And obviously to hype up a tune or whatever, but for me, it's kind of knowing where to kind of finesse it in and make it effective. So. Again, yeah, people make them all over them. Obviously online, you could probably find them, but it took a while to find the sounds that we want. And again, I don't know if you remember in the sessions that when you're at our spot, what they are, what the sounds, if they're happening, try to just make it look like it's just in the music anyway, right. So it's not just.
I'll see you next to them, kind of swaying, and then getting them in there, maybe saying something on the mic. So being on the mic, that's another thing that's there's a lot. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
Patty's more on the mic these days.
So that's more of someone broke this down to me the other day. It's like you're a DJ and you DJ and maybe you get on the mic, but being a selector is more like you might not be doing blends as much. You might just be kind of talking about the track.
Blends,
There's no blends.
I get it. Yeah, it's not.
Juggle. You can juggle tunes. You can spin it, rewind it, and switch it to the next. That type. That's some of the stuff that you can do with rubber dub. But in the sound system dub community, you play the track out. You flip it, you play the B-side, you play the different versions that are.
You play the whole thing. No ADD,
No, you're there to really experience the track from the vocal. Then you're gonna maybe hear
the horn version,
a horn or melodica or mandolin or flute version, and then after that it's gonna come a wicked dub that somebody just destroyed and it's gonna take you there, so it's it's prepping you for that moment, you can't just get into that meditative state by just listening to
switching from 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. But again, there's no rules, right? I think ultimately it's music, and you have to do this.
No.
But, no.
I'm just saying no, I'm not saying in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
But there's no rules. But at the same time, there's a way of the culture that
presenting the music.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I actually I feel like sometimes I go to DJ sets and they are super ADD, and I'm just can we just listen to something for a while? One of my favorite tracks is this dub techno track by Basic Channel, and it's just 20 minutes of the same thing, and it's just evolving, and it's amazing. I sink deeper into it as it goes on. Yeah. So anyway, maybe I'm just getting older too, and just listening to dub techno. I don't know.
It's big, especially in France. Yeah.
Do you guys like dub techno? Is that a thing, or do you stick to the more breakbeat style?
Techno more, I think. Okay. I'm more traditional. I started collecting records for a long time, and the way that I got into this community was silk screening T-shirts for reggae bands and reggae selectors and collectors of Chicago. So that's why I'm more traditional, and I really like to just stick to that. But there is some dub techno stuff that sounds cool, and is needed at a certain time of the night. When you're ready to just ready to get loose, and you're already pay respects to the ancestors and the dub, and you rinse a lot of tracks on the sound, and maybe you have a crowd that wants it. I mean, it's also the feeling that you get through the people that are there. Like, you cater to them as well. So
as a
Chux
DJ,
comes in,
as a selector,
yeah. So when Chux comes in with some of this hard hitting tracks are.
It's usually late though. It's it's after 2 a.m. kind of thing. And I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I collect it necessarily, but if I hear something and I like it. You know what I mean? Whatever it falls under. If it's dub techno, is it dub? Is it?
There's like dub everything.
Yeah,
now. Dub house, dub techno.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just the sound.
And again, we grew up. I grew up in Chicago. House music. I mean, I like house music. We don't necessarily play it on the sound or anything like that. But no, there's good jungle. There's good. There's tons of great music out there.
For me, I think for me, house music and raves were the first in my first introduction to amplified sound, and just really going there to dance and meet friends, and we would just be by the speaker dancing the whole entire time. Even though, yes, of course, there was lots of drugs going around and everybody doing them. For the most part, I went there for the music, and I just enjoyed dancing and meeting other people that you can kind of like have these dance competitions and do that type of stuff. So
any like juke and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of that too, Chicago.
Chicago style, so yeah, we did do that, and at some point I think you talked about hip hop, how it didn't fill in that
fill the void or something.
Yeah, feel like the
message
changed,
right?
And everything. And that happened to me with house music and just in general. I mean, I like all kinds of music, but there wasn't that connection which I have with the music now.
For sure. So I kind of want to go back just to Jamaica for a second, because we talked after a show one time, and you guys said you frequent there. And what is it like seeing like a dub show in Jamaica specifically, or just what's different about it?
There's not really dub shows in Jamaica.
Really?
For the most part, it's
dancehall,
and reggae, like reggae bands. They have Rebel Salute, and they might have
that's like, what do they call it, revival?
Yeah, like revival, reggae revival, and that type of stuff. But there's actually a festival that is the people trying to put there. It's called Dub Force. And other than that, I really don't recall seeing anything about any dub festivals or nights happening in Jamaica. They do have a dub club in Kingston. It's called Kingston Dub Club.
We haven't been, right?
But we haven't been, and they do have a sound system, and they play roots.
So that's,
what is roots too? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, as far as, again, and not like we know the island, from,
end to end.
Yeah. So there's sound systems.
I mean, it's a beautiful. I've been there actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. No, it's the best. There's guys and gals have sound systems. I just think because we've been to Stone Love sound systems, or just even like on the side of the road, people playing stuff. But I think. I almost wonder if they think the old stuff is, they consider like oldies. Like, they're not listening to oldies anymore. It'd be like us listening to like the Beatles or something, and just like, yeah, that's cool, but like, why are you guys playing the Beatles tonight? Where we'll play a record from 1982 or again 76 or whatever. And I think they're want to hear the new stuff. They want to hear, like, again, they're trying to push forward, and it might be kind of more pop or dance hallish, and I'm sure there's a lot of cats doing dub and roots, but
I mean, there are dub producers that are going there to record artists and to meet other engineers, and there's people that live there that are dub artists as well. But I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty much immersed in this community, and I haven't seen any parties, any festivals that we could say, hey, let's go check it out, because there isn't.
It's interesting. It's almost like an export in a sense that has made its way around, and other people are like, this is sick. I want to do this.
Especially Europe, UK. I mean, in Mexico City. I mean, it's just huge.
In Mexico City, really? Okay, yeah, that's super interesting because like that's
in general.
Mexico in general, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've heard in Europe, in like I was talking to Uka, he was saying that Spain, they have a lot of sound system culture, dub stuff. Like
every city, every town has. Yeah, Spain is massive with sounds. Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, pretty much every city probably has 2 or 3. Barcelona probably has 10. France is just, I mean,
but there's a reggae culture in these places as well, especially in London and England, because of all of the Jamaican immigrants that were given a visa to go there, and so there's that in France too. People love reggae music, the roots of reggae, rocksteady, everything. So there's that backstory. People carry it and continue with it through the new sounds of dub and dub techno, whatever is happening. But it's just everywhere. Jamaica gave the world reggae, and people took it to every single corner of the world and made it something different.
Yeah, Jamaica's brought us some crazy stuff. What was I gonna say about the? We didn't. Oh no, we did cover that. There was something. This is why editing is good.
Yeah.
There was something. Oh yeah, roots. That's what it was. Just because like, I don't know, and I feel like a lot of people might not know either. Like, what is the difference between like a roots, and like a dub set? Are there certain characteristics that make one sound the other? Or sound different?
Roots are their songs, and it's reggae, but with a more Rastafari approach. And it talks about the struggle, fighting against it, Babylon, and fighting for the oppressed. Talking about the struggle every day in the island, the corruption, the police, and people being hungry and not having enough to eat, not having a shelter, that type of stuff. So that's why it's called roots. Is the basis, the foundations, is the word, it's the message. And then the dub is the instrumental. It could have vocals too, but it's just manipulated. It has echoes, it has reverb that expands the sound. It has like they have their own instruments and like spring reverbs that they add, sirens, and so that's the difference. Dub is manipulated, it's more instrumental. It would have some vocals in and out, but it's just manipulated, experimental, ambient, meditative sound.
Okay, and yeah, roots is more message based.
Well, it's like the track, more message based Rastafari, and is the message.
Okay, thank you. I know it sounds like we're just splitting hairs, but now I feel like okay, cool, I got it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what I could add to roots, or compare it to like Dancehall or something like that. But I think it, Patty did a good job. It's kind of I guess
go.
No,
I was just gonna say Dancehall is like. When I think of dancehall, I think of like Major Lazer and like someone jumping off a ladder or something, like doing crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, dancehall could be aggressive, but like the early the 90s stuff was really popular and big, and kind of there's a lot of like these classic tunes.
The original dancehall started off as rub-a-dub,
Rub-a-dub.
Rub-a-dub.
That's another genre for you.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I actually like rub-a-dub quite a bit, but yeah, Patty, break it down.
Rub-a-dub dancehall. So, when they started to press the B-side on 7 inches, and they had these instrumentals to go to the dances, people like Uroy and other toasters who started to come and
a toaster, is that like an MC?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And they started to sing over these rhythms and passing the microphone. And I mean, there's lots of videos that you can see on YouTube of like legendary people doing this type of stuff, like writing the rhythm, which is another thing that you can talk about. There's classic rhythms that have been used over and over and over. If you
Slang Tang or something.
Slang Tang is the most popular dancehall rhythm of all time. So the people writing these rhythms and passing the microphone. So that was the original kind of dancehall rub-a-dub style.
Was it a dance hall?
Yeah, because it wasn't a dance hall. It was like lots of people there to dance and listen to the tracks, listen to the sound. And then what was the question?
Just rub-a-dub, and then the style just became rub-a-dub. Like,
so
people started putting out records that sounded like what it would sound like if you were in a big hall, kind of.
Right, because it has that characteristic sound.
Yeah, and
so they would add reverb to it in a way that would sound like it?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying like the dance hall or like a hall reverb. I'm saying more just like just kind of off the cuff,
that energy.
Yeah, that energy. I think of it as right. I mean, kind of with rub-a-dub, right? It was kind of more.
And the specific rhythm.
Sorry.
Is Slang Tang? Okay, so the rhythm, is it more that like?
I wish we had a little thing.
I know.
No, maybe the rhythm is the melody of the song. So for example, there is so Slang Tang is one of the most popular rhythms ever used. You have the original Slang Tang rhythm, which was it was under Wayne Smith and produced by Prince Fatty, not Prince Fatty, but what's his name?
Prince Jammy.
I love you guys. Thank you for breaking this down. I feel like we're getting to the origins of stuff here.
We're editing a lot of this stuff, right? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that one part.
We could talk about our experiences or our opinion. And like how we run our sound or how we run our Sirens. But who made the first Siren or who made the first Rub-a-Dub album?
I'm enjoying it either way because it at least leaves the seeds for me to go and explore more and learn more about it.
Yeah.
So
nice.
So rhythms. There's lots of rhythms that are basically it's like
instrumental,
an instrumental melody that people recycle and continue to write on, and that a lot of these different versions of the song with the same rhythm came about during Rub-a-Dub and Dancehall because all the toasters would come in and jump on the mic and do their own lyrics on the same rhythm.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your host, Jerry, again. I really hope that you're enjoying today's episode. I know that I enjoyed having the conversation. Just gotta be that squeaky wheel here and let you guys know to please go subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment. Honestly, the 5-star reviews on the podcast platforms, that's big too, because otherwise it just doesn't get promoted and it's, we're fighting that upward battle. That uphill battle. But yeah, I know you're just thinking in your head like, Jerry, can we get back to the episode? Yes, we can. All right. One easy question, which I probably should have asked earlier, was why Beatdown? What is it about that name?
So it started with a group of friends in the late 90s. Shout out to my man, Lord Dubious, I-Trick, Junior D.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Lord Dubious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He was one of the first dubstep pioneer DJs out here in Chicago.
Yeah. He was playing dubstep before anyone, really. But at the time, I was doing a thing called Phonograph Scientist. It was like a scratch quartet, so to speak. We call it turntable and mixer.
That sounds sick.
It was.
Scratch quartet?
100%, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So you had 4 people scratching at once?
Yep. Somebody would be scratching a beat, somebody would be scratching a bass line, someone would be on the vocal, and someone would be like on a horn or
That
something.
is fucking crazy. That sounds so cool.
It was.
If I saw that live today, I'd be like, this is next level.
That's how I met him. I saw him live at the
Really?
Metro.
Oh my God, we got to talk about how you guys met. I didn't even. Yes. Next.
Okay.
We were talking.
Oh yeah, so Beatdown, the Beatdown name. So then I've met some. We met some friends, and they were having this thing that they would call it a Beatdown. It was just basically a bunch of friends bringing all records. So this was before even MP. Well, I don't know about it was before MP3s, but it was an all record hangout, and we would listen to everyone. Everyone would go for an hour or whatever, and just kind of listen to each other. And it was just called Friday Night Beatdowns. then it kind of morphed into, as we got a little bit older, into Beatdown 3000. And this was now hooking up a whole bunch of using our
drum machines.
Yeah, drum machines and all the scratch
turntables. And some people would bring like a CDJ and just like people would be jamming there. Right where we have our events, Chuck would put together like a huge table with all of this different gadgets
equipment,
and people would just come and jam for hours and hours.
And then when we decided to build the sound system, we just were like, yeah, I mean, we were already as kind of like Beatdown 3000 because our thought was, we're from the future and what we're doing is so far ahead that, whatever. And then it just became Beatdown Sound System. So it took the name Beatdown, and then you could be used for anything, beating.
And it's also the message of Beatdown Babylon, no?
Right. And for people that don't know Babylon, however you say it, it's the like oppressors, like the government.
The oppressor, the government, the police, the corruption, the system. The only good system is a sound system, right? So yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for bringing us down memory lane. I want to continue down memory lane. How did you guys meet?
We met at the Metro. Chuck was opening for Jungle Brothers, and
we were formed as phonograph scientists. So again, we had 4 of us on stage, and we were doing our thing for Jungle Brothers. Then when I got off the stage, Patty caught my eye, she had an Uprise T-shirt. I don't know if you're familiar with Uprise, the skateboard,
the skate shop,
skate shop, yeah. So
those are our homies.
Has it been around?
Uprise? Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Really? What years before we even met? So I knew a friend Rob, who was a graffiti writer. I know he just. I don't know if he worked or he was the distributor or something for Uprise or the buyer or something, whatever. But I knew he was down with Uprise. So I asked Patty where she got her shirt from, and we met at the Metro right after the Jungle Brothers show, and then
I'm still just geeking about like you guys all scratching up there. Can we bring that back? Do you ever do it anymore?
So, do I scratch? Yes, but everybody, our one friend, won't mention his name. He's in Costa Rica. I have another friend who does it a lot more, and they kind of broke off into their own crew. And I just don't do it as much because I'm just sort of now with kind of the reggae music, sound system music. But no, I still scratch, and if my homie, Jay or whatever would come over, we'll still kind of, it's called Q&A. It's going back and forth. So it's like 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars. You just put on an instrumental and you just cut and cut and cut. And we used to do that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of just. We would set up and just go back and forth. It'd be like, us right here.
Be like
just
talking.
Basically, we are. That's exactly what we were doing. Yeah. Yep.
Dude.
And that's how you get better.
So cool.
Because then something would come up and you'd be like, oh, how did you do that? Like, man, I did like 2 clicks backwards and then I dragged it back. Like what? Like, oh, and then, and then with guys like Qbert and these scratch guys, they put out videos and they started to teach the different, like a chirp, a stab,
now there's
crab.
A school in California.
Yeah, like a DJ Scratch School.
Yeah, Scratch Academy.
Scratch Academy. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So,
but Chuck does jump in occasionally on the sound system.
Yeah.
I think last time when Bondi played, you did like something.
Yeah, Mongos.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, just recently.
And he also lays scratching tracks for different artists, local artists, and things like that.
Yeah, studio work. So like,
gotcha.
Like I don't DJ Premier or Jam Master Jay or something. You think about these old, kind of Public Enemy records or, Gangstar or whatever. But yeah, so like scratching the chorus. So from time to time, friends have me come in and lay down the cuts for their, they have the record. I mean, they have the tune, and they just need some scratching at the intro or maybe just the chorus or so still from time to time do that.
I love that. I've always thought it'd be so cool to learn how to scratch.
It's fun. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get some pointers.
That's
if I ever get
100%. Yeah.
A record player in here.
Would be happy to.
So let's talk a little bit about like Beatdown and kind of how you guys operate a little bit. I've seen sub clubs, which is more on the dubstep side of things, the bass music in general.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then you have the dub clubs as well. Are there any other shows that you guys do outside of that?
We did do a rumble, and that was a jungle thing with bass by the pound.
Okay.
I think we did maybe 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, but other than that, it's not that often. But yeah, that was the third one we did, was something called Rumble, and that was more of a jungle.
And a lot of people they inquire to do different things. And what I think about that, like we love all kinds of music, and we are flexible, and I mean we are sharing our baby with a lot of people that usually sound systems don't do that. They don't have other types of music except for they're only playing their own thing, and that's it. So we have shared a lot of our sound system with other communities here. But other than what we already have worked on, I feel like, like the reason that we started all of this was to conserve and push forward dub and reggae music, because roots is not something that is in the forefront in any venues in Chicago.
That's why I'm saying I'm so uneducated, because I just have never really experienced it
So
that.
In order for you to listen to roots and dub music in a sound system style, this is it. So for us, we really, we need to continue to push to give that space for that music. You can go and book a dubstep show anywhere else, a house music show anywhere else, techno show, all of those things, which are really cool. But we created this space and the sound system for that music and for the message. So we really we really trying to keep it small and keep it exclusive and pure.
Yeah, and one of the ways is also by like, this is kind of like an underground thing, rave thing as well, where you don't get the address right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a if you know type of deal, and be respectful and
correct
all of that.
Yeah.
And so far everybody has been really, really nice, and we're really happy with all of the people that we've met through all of this, and we see the way that our space is left after any session, and it's been the most respectful, and the people have been the nicest, and very appreciative of what we do, and we really love that.
And also doing these events, we're able to meet some really cool artists internationally. Again, the list of people we've met just in our dub clubs, like Rico OBF and Mark Iration and Channel One and Zion Train and dubstep artists. I still think to this day, Mystique Motive had one of the best sets at our space. Period. I mean, he was just. So it's like you see some of these acts. Again, it's something that I didn't even know who he was until he was, at our space. And yeah, it's great meeting these guys, whether it be from UK or Europe, Canada, New York, and it's cool just to kind of, meet new people and being able to just kind of sort of share the stage with them as well. And it's an honor for us as well. I mean, we're bringing, legends in our mind, to our humble little space. They I just got done doing an event for 2,000 people, and now they're at a 100-person venue in Chicago.
But people love those like tight.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and the feedback we get from these artists, I can't imagine they're all lying, but they love it. They're just like, this is so cool. It's so intimate. It's like you're right there. It's not, you're not up in a corner in a booth or way on a stage and tons of security. You are really. Yeah, you're just on top of it. And so all the artists, we get great feedback. People love it. And
I hope people understand how, and like the importance of this work that we're doing, and really appreciate how much effort and sweat, tears, and money we are we're willing to put up for this type of events, hoping that people would come and buy the ticket just so that it pays for itself. That type of stuff. It's not about the money. We're not making any money. We're if anything, we lose money every time. If you think about really like when it comes down to everything that we spend, and I would have to throw so many dances before I even pay off the sound system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you guys really I think that people respond to the energy that's set forth, and like you walk in and there's food, you know, that's not something everyone, and it's homemade food, you know, you walk in, there's, it's like I was saying, it's like a house party, you know what I mean? And people, I think, tend to match that. Also, it's not so huge that people can just go absolutely insane in a huge space, but yeah, I mean, like, I think it's just the way you present it. And honestly, the food, let's just talk about that really quick. How did was that from the get-go? It was like, well, we got to feed people, like.
Yes, you know, we talked about this. I mean, first and foremost, we're both Mexican. We're in the Midwest, and so we have the hospitality in us. Chux is a chef. I love cooking, and you know, every time you come over our house, and you know, maybe it comes from your culture as well, you know, having a little something to offer for people.
It does, yeah. Greek people, it's all about food.
It's all about food. You come in and, you know, you're not leaving until you don't try this. You eat this with us. You're staying for dinner. Oh, no, you know, there's that. And you know, every dance you go to in Jamaica, there's the jerk chicken outside. It's the best jerk chicken too, you know, after a dance.
Jerk chicken.
They have curries, they have fish, they have patties. So the patties are actually a Jamaican real thing. I do it in like a Jamaican style.
Kinky patties.
Kinky patties, absolutely.
Are those like the kind of empanada thing?
Yes.
They're like, so it's like a pocket filled with whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the recipe of the patty. The dough is like a Jamaican patty, but I fold it myself, the edges, because I don't like doing the fork, you know. So I try to fold it myself.
In an empanada style, maybe.
And I try to do a traditional one, which is the beef patty. With all of this Caribbean spices and chilies and stuff like that. And then I do other more Mexican style ones with potato roasted peppers and Chihuahua cheese. And you know, it's nice to have something for the people that are there. We also live in a food desert area where there's not that many places to go. And after COVID, there's no late night spots anymore. So we want to make sure that people don't get too hammered and they get sobered up a little bit. Maybe somebody, you know, sometimes you go to these places, you didn't have a proper dinner, or
you're there for a long time too, and you're just like, I could use something.
Exactly. So this is like, you know, we provide that for our bartender, for the door person, for our friends as well too. Amen. Like grab something.
The artists, whatever.
The artists. And then, you know, from that we went to gelato and
I started making my own ice cream and gelato. And also I don't know if you've seen, we now serve espresso as well. They have a little espresso machine. Yeah, you know, I was at a festival in Sicily, and Manuel Dub, and I just, you know, talk about food. I mean, you get a bowl of clams, you know, vongole in Sicily while the dance is going on, and just like blow your mind.
That's wild. Eating clams at the show. Just
I mean, you know, I sat at a table, but you know, but still,
just holding a clam,
just trying to dance. But yeah, and having coffee. I remember seeing people drinking coffee too, and I'm like, it was like, you know, 1 a.m. or something. I'm like, I could totally use a coffee, you know, and just gets you kind of right back in the game. And again, now, especially in you know, Italy and Sicily, again, food, like, you know, Greece, I mean, it's just food's everywhere, and it's very important. So yeah, and I think the fact that, you know, again, like Patty said, maybe you know, the fact it's Midwest, or, you know, our kind of our background, Sicilian, Mexican, and just kind of want to feed people and and just make it a part of it. And I think it's a nice thing, and people love them. Yeah,
it's people talk about it, and it's just like, it's also not like venue food that you're just like, why is this like $20 for chicken tenders? Like, or crab,
and it's deep fried. Absolutely. No, I definitely have a lot of people that come back just for the food, and they're like, they even just like almost kick me out of the way to get to the patties, you know, and they're like, oh, I just needed this so bad. And so they're famous, and I'm glad that you guys like it.
I love it.
Yeah, nice.
I kind of wanted to talk about the private chef aspect really quick, just because it's interesting.
Sure.
Part of the reason that it, you know, we delayed our conversation for a little bit because you're like, I gotta work, and you were like, I'm working for like the whole summer, right?
Yeah. So I work for one family, and so it's basically out of Chicago and Aspen, Colorado. So as a matter of fact, I'm leaving in 2 days, for work in Aspen for about 2 weeks or so. And most summers are out there as well. So middle of June. If you notice, that's why we don't really have sessions in the middle of the summer, usually because we're not around. And then come back in August.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we kind of maybe do a few in the winter, maybe one in the spring. Summers are off, and then we kind of pick it up big and not big, but in the fall and winter.
Good times too, because then air conditioning is not as expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
People have their windows and doors closed. They're not really chilling outside in the winter, so it helps out.
And I also think too, summer people want to go to festivals. You're out of town. You're going to.
There's a lot of competition in the summer. There's so much going on.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Chicago. This is another thing I wanted to ask you guys. It's just like being in a city where there's so many festivals, so many concerts, and everything going on. Like how do you make it work for yourselves?
Hard.
It's tough, man.
It's tough.
I mean, the beginning when we started, we just again lost money every single time. We would have to rent a hall and rent a U-Haul and have a bunch of guys to help us and bring an artist in, and for 40 people or something like that, and just we were banging our head against the wall. It's just tough. So that's why we started, kind of incorporating more events with sort of like, the youth, and, whether these 140
outside,
events. Outside our little bubble, and just try to get more people in front of the sound to hear the sound. Okay, this is cool. And again, it's a process, and it's a labor of love. I mean, you're just kind of working toward this, and you keep second guessing, like, why do we keep doing this? We're just but then you have a thing like we just had Channel One a few weeks ago, and again you do something like that, and it's just like perfect.
That's why we do it.
Yeah,
and I feel that
it gets you right back in. And then the artists also, they help us a lot because they all been in the same situation. And if you look at videos on the first sessions, there's like nobody there,
20, 30
or
people,
like, you look at documentaries and there's like sound systems that are doing super good now. And at some point they were not sure if the music that they were gonna play, they were gonna like it. And they're like, you just keep playing it until people get it, and that's where we just stick you to.
You look at like an OBF video. I don't know if you're familiar with OBF sound system, but look at their videos, and again, people are just going mad, like mad. And I think ultimately a lot of people, maybe even sometimes we get, or I speak for myself, would get caught up in trying to get that moment of just kind of, to get the crowd or people's hands in the air. And it's just really, I think maybe the older I'm getting, or just the more we're doing this, the more experience, like it's really not about, it's not about the shot, the money, the hype. It's more about just the experience. And if there's 35 people there, there's 35 people there, and we're still going to do our thing.
It's about our experience doing it. We have to enjoy it ourselves too. And then, and the connection that we make with the people on the dance floor. And even though there's, sometimes 30 and 40 people, we have some of the most fun, because we're making that connection. People are getting it, and you can see it, like they're feeling it in here.
Yeah,
best. It's really getting in here, but they're feeling it in here.
Yeah, I think the best is once we finally do, cut the sound and turn the lights on, and we're kind of saying our goodbyes. It's the people that have never experienced this. Like, what is this? Like,
they're like asking questions.
Yeah, just like, I mean, what is this music, or what? And we're like, it's kind of reggae, dub, sound system music, and they're just like, I'll be back here, whatever, but like they are just freaked out because they've never heard these vibrations or felt these vibrations before. And again, like, so I think it's a little bit different than say dubstep or even hip hop or techno or house. I mean, those all, but it's like, man, when it's right, like it's like powerful, man.
Especially having some legends like King Shiloh and Channel One that really bring that experience. What's great for us, and I hope whoever caught those shows, I hope that they were able to connect to that
or take something from it. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like I was thinking about the whole dub club, sub club thing. I feel like it's kind of like you got the rotation, but then you start leeching some of the sub club people into the dub club, and you're like, yeah, this is what we do it for. Mostly.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times even we'll kind of play last, not to just like play after the headline or something, but just kind of almost to bring it down a little bit, even though I have a hard time bringing it down, but just to kind of, let the headliner do his thing from whatever 12:30 to 2 or whatever, midnight to 1:30. And then just as a way to kind of, make some noise for whomever, youngster or whatever. And then kind of like ease back into some like kind of reggae stuff. And most people just are kind of like, okay, well, whoever's done, we're leaving. But some just kind of stick around because it's 1:30.
Like, yes.
And yeah, and it's like, that's when we close the doors and, and then I'm, whoever, it could be Patty.
There's that one guy that's always like, yeah, I'm talking, and then he'll like, he just like, he's at all the shows. I swear, he's always screaming. I gotta figure out his name.
Yeah. I wonder if it's
is it blonde hair or brown hair?
I think it's brown.
So
but he'll be like,
yeah,
he does.
It's Adam Bond. Yeah, he's like one of the premier.
He's been there day
fans,
one. Like sometimes he'd get there,
and he dances.
Yep.
Interestingly,
that's him. Yeah, and our day one, he was just, I don't know how he found out about us, or maybe Patty knows. And like,
no, we participated for the Chicago World Music Festival up north,
Loyola Park. Yeah.
Loyola Park, and he lives around there, and he happened to come by.
Wow. And then just started following us, and and he's there again. Doors at 9:00. He's there at 9:15. And
actually, he went to Cleveland to go see us. He went and
Milwaukee.
He went. He took a train or something, and he brought a foldable bicycle, and it was like almost like 15 degrees outside, and he rode his bicycle from the train station to the session, and then he went back home that night.
He's like, I feel like constantly at Burning Man in his head. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. It's great though. Yeah.
No, I love that guy. Every time I see him, like, that's the mascot or something.
Sure,
like,
for sure.
That's so cool. Yeah. Okay. So, let's get back to the whole Beatdown Sound, which I was wondering, like, what are some goals that you guys have? Like, if you were to see, is it getting bigger? Is that a goal? Is it just like having a better audience, like that are just more with it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a better audience is always helpful for all of this, but I would think for myself as a goal is to, help people learn about dub reggae music and that music can continue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possible because it's happening everywhere else. It could happen here too. And so I just don't want that to die. I don't want Chicago to be a city without a place that you can really go listen to real roots music and dub music and in a sound system style. Because you can go find dancehall and Bob Marley covers and Vibes Cartel everywhere, but not the music with the message and what we're trying to provide. So we know we can't do this forever, but we hope that it can continue for the city and for everybody else and for the music as well.
I also think some goals, at least for 2025, is to bring the sound system out more, bring it out to the streets, bring it out to a forest preserve, bring it out to under a viaduct, whatever, just like bring the actual sound outside, so if that's getting permits, if that's probably can't do
getting
really.
Some people to help you move it, so
that
it's not like
for sure.
horrible.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I think that's an actual goal we've talked about before in 2025. Like let's bring the sound out a little bit more, and also again we spoke a little bit earlier, and we'd like to start a record label, maybe start putting out some music. Patty has some big things booked for 2025 as far as playing in other cities, other countries. So I think it's also just like kind of getting the name out, and just so as far as having, the better artist at the space, I think it's kind of evolving and just kind of growing in other ways too, whether it's, again, a record label, bringing it out and, again, playing, under the Beatdown name, Pat does a radio station, playing a few festivals in the summer. So I think it's just like kind of putting out our style of music and the way we present it, the way she presents it,
That makes sense, yeah. Because, I mean, there is a certain point where it's too big to even be contained in the space,
Yeah.
That would be a risk of shutdown or something. I don't know.
No, it's
Knock on wood, but it's just people sometimes just think about this like growth mindset. It's like I just got to grow like a cancer cell, and it's like, well, you also just want like good people. So
for me, I don't know if it's necessarily about we need 1,000 people at our shows in Chicago. I think there's other ways to kind of grow. But again, I think also bringing it out would just be awesome. Just let the kind of the sound system breathe, because it's loud at our space, but we're not even pushing it barely pushing it halfway. Not
You're
really.
like, well, I did blow that speaker.
Yeah, it's like a quarter.
It's like or a third, and like there's a lot.
So yes, I think it could really only breathe outside, because even we talked about a couple venues a little bit ago, and you're risking a lot by bringing it to these venues that swear up and down that it's okay, and once they really hear it, they're like, no, this could not happen. And that has happened to us, and we had parties shut down at midnight, and that's frustrating for us, for the artists that we flew to come and perform. And
especially if you guys get paid and all of that, and everyone gets paid, it's just like,
and we didn't. We didn't. We had to pay the artist, but out of our pocket, and it was a disaster.
What is like the biggest thing you've learned doing this? Like, it's kind of a broad question, but I mean, anytime you go at like me doing the podcast, it's like I just learn random things I never thought I would learn, because something comes up and I'm like, oh, now I got to figure out this problem. Anything?
I think. Well, for me, and Patty will probably have a different perspective just because she's more playing the music. But I think learned to start slow. You know what I mean? You don't have to. You could kind of build. Not that we didn't already know that, but I think really are conscious now to just kind of build towards something, as opposed to just kind of like bang, then bringing it down, whatever. So kind of building, and not having to push it like all the way, just like having it sound full. I think early on I tried to just push too hard because I wanted to. What I don't even do was like show off. It's just that we go to these sessions in UK and it's just so it's double our stat. So it would be 2 of these, and it's just so loud and powerful that you want to kind of mimic that amount of pressure, so to speak. So I think the way I've learned now is like it doesn't have to be just like balls to the wall, man. Just kind of nice and easy and just full, as long as it's full.
Yeah,
and I think that's the main thing. And again, all constantly learning, constantly evolving. So when we have these artists, I watch the way they do their thing, whether it's Siren, the way they play the tune, the way they present the tune, the way they fade out the tune, the way they and it's like you're just constantly absorbing all this knowledge from these guys, and you just kind of again try to make it your own, and not just like completely take what he's doing, like, oh, that's the way he did his Siren. Like, you just kind of like, oh, it's just like a way to like rethink, the whole
soak things.
Yeah,
like you're soaking it up.
Yeah. So I think we're constantly learning. At least I am, constantly evolving. And I think Patty as well is just doing the radio station, has just gotten so much better on the microphone. I think the confidence I see when I watch her play now, it's just like she played Millennium Park this year. Open up for Protege, and again, it's just like these. It's a huge room. It's the Pritzker Pavilion. It's outside. It's massive. So, and again, just watching her confidence grow, you could again. She was again a year ago. Yeah, she was great, but even now to this day, has gotten so much more comfortable, and like I could see her on the fly. If the tune is ending, she's got just, and it's just right on. So it's kind of cool to watch her even evolve as an artist and a selector. I believe.
Yeah, for me, I've learned to evolve too. For the longest time, I was a 100% vinyl DJ, and that is something that is not, it's not feasible, in a lot of settings, venues, festivals. So being more versatile and open to playing all the formats, it's fine, and there's definitely a lot. It helps my budget a lot too.
You got that USB stick, you're just like, but all right.
Like 145 could be $50 when it's all said and done to bring from Europe to Chicago. So, yes, being open to learning new things and
New pieces of equipment.
new pieces of equipment. That is all gonna help us in the long run. And I think like we've learned to work together, because for the most part, he's always been his own independent DJ and performer, and for me as well. So now bringing it all together and really feeding off each other and making sure that we're working together and it's working for the people and for us. It's something to really put a lot of work into.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's eye contact. It's just kind of like you got this, like yeah, and just kind of it's fun.
That reminds me of like when I used to throw these parties, and just like invite way too many people, and it would be great. My place would be trashed, but there was a lot of eye contact with like your roommates, like what's going on over there? Do we have to like put out a fire right now?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Can we take a break?
Yeah. Let's take a break.
I just need to use the bathroom really quick.
No, that's perfect. All right, so we took a little break. One thing I wanted to ask before I forget is, you were talking about like Chicago. This is kind of the beacon of sound system. Is your guys' system? I mean, at least currently. What are some other systems that are like in the United States that are doing similar things that you can shout out, or maybe you have a relationship with them and on the internet or something?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, we can start off the West Coast. In California, there's...
Patty, you mind just doing this? Just a local... Yeah, that's perfect.
Hello.
Squeak.
So yeah, we can start off with the sound systems in the West Coast. There is Black Heart Warriors in San Diego. They've been around for since early 2000s, for a very long time. Then we have in LA, we have Dub Siren. We have Reverb Iration, Highly Charged. We have Yacht Thunder out of San Bernardino.
So this is all in California?
All in California.
So there's
Southern
a lot
California.
in California.
Southern
Oh,
California.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Teocalli, that is out of Pomona, California. Then you go Northern California, you have Inner Standing Sound. You have Kibo High Five out of Seattle. There is then you go to Denver, obviously you have Demdea and
Red Peak Sound.
And what is the other one called? Okay. And then we have in the Midwest, we have obviously Beatdown Sound in Chicago. We have Headway High Five. Headway High Five out of Milwaukee. We have out of Cleveland, Steelyard Sound System. And out of Pennsylvania, we have House of Roots and Soul Dragon Sound System. And then you have out of Washington, D.C., it's Grand Ancestor. New York, Dubstyle.
Jungle Skankin'.
Love the names, by the way. These are great.
And then you have King Remo Sound System out of Texas. Anything else I'm missing?
And
I'm sorry if I missed it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. Yeah,
but
there's also like smaller stacks, like half stacks, sprinkled around. But those are like the most.
So it's enough that was like under 20, or maybe like, not too many.
Yeah, I think the scene has sort of gotten bigger from what we can see in the last 5 years or so. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, don't know who's. I'm sure there was sounds from Jamaica in the 70s and 80s. I'm sure I don't know if they're not around anymore, but Dubstyle is kind of doing big things. They started bringing sort of more of the international or the UK European kind of acts to New York. And I think everyone just I guess was doing their own thing, but and Black Heart Warrior's been around for a while, so yeah, I guess it just depends. But again, each West Coast is its own thing, East Coast is its own thing, and even Chicago. I feel like our sessions, in Chicago, people dance. We're kind of a little bit more active. In LA, it's, have you been to West Coast and stuff? Everyone's kind of laid back. It's chill. Everyone's
concerned about their appearance. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sure. Well, I would even say may even be New York's kind of wild too, but even kind of New York is sometimes too cool for school. Where Chicago's just kind of like, just get down. More boogie and dance and stuff. But yeah, there's quite a few sounds that, again, we've sort of started becoming friends with a lot of these sounds. Patty, way more on the West Coast than
you guys, it's like that. I see the light within you. Do you have a sound system?
Yeah.
Namaste type of thing?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, not to bring it to like Indian. Anyway,
yeah.
There is a level of like respect that you see in each other because you probably both understand how much it takes to run a sound system and just, purely the monetary, like how much it costs to get into it.
Yeah. Oh, Ridamaca, North Carolina.
Ridamaca, North Carolina.
Hi-Fi.
Shout out Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
I got a Hi-Fi sticker on my water bottle.
Yeah. So again, there's so many. Again, we're not trying to leave people out. It's hard to, I guess, not hard, but try to think of all the. I'm sure we're leaving other people out as well.
Do you think the trajectory you were saying, you think that it's expanding? It seems that way, at least.
It seems a little bit that way. I don't think it's as fast as we thought it was going to be, or as much. The following is not growing as much as other countries not too far away from here, like Mexico.
Yeah, the scene in Mexico is insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Compared to the States.
There's sound system sessions, Thursday through Tuesday. They only take a couple days off, I think.
Outside, inside, at the beach, and this. Yeah.
They will carry boxes 3 floors on their back, no problem. I've seen it. We've taken sound systems in a bus down to Oaxaca, like drove for 16, 18 hours to get to the beach and set it up on the beach. There's been sound system sessions at parks, Yet for the people with little kids, moms, grandmas, all coming to see what's going on. So the culture is alive and thriving in a lot of places. So here's a little bit. I don't know if it's also the. I feel like a lot of it has to do with venues and the police and and the noise complaints and regulations that stops that type of thing happening here in the United States.
Right, and I just feel like there's like this commercialization and like mainstreamness to like electronic music, and that they see that just makes money
for sure.
And why would I get a like a boutique sound system when I can just get this huge rig that's
but that isn't that as equally as expensive?
It probably is, but I guess it's just not. And I will say, especially at festivals, people are beginning to understand the different brands of speakers. Like they understand the different sound systems, like the
Function One or something.
Yeah, Void, Hennessy's, whatever. And are those even different than what you guys are talking about too? Like that those are more not as customizable. Like they're kind of. You buy
them as it is. What we have is a traditional Jamaican-style sound system.
You're buying the cones. You're buying like the box. You're buying
the screws,
everything.
the cables,
the wood. Yeah,
soldering the wire. Yeah, exactly.
But even like our bass, our subs, our scoops are designed for reggae music. And like our whole rig is set up and it's designed to be warmer and accommodate all of that full sounds of each track.
Yeah, I don't really know. Again, like the Function One. I know what it looks like, but again, I don't know how it's run. I don't know if it's 3-way.
Yeah, can you be like, hey, Function One, can I buy just the crossover?
Yeah,
or like, can I buy just one piece?
Yeah, or I guess what I don't also know. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect or anything, but like say in a party, is it just kind of like you just set it and kind of they walk away and like
it's what it seems like.
Yeah, and as opposed to we're kind of like I said, manipulating pretty much almost every tune. It's easier for, I guess, the drum and bass or the dubstep guys, because they are kind of, they're just kind of playing one level. I guess for reggae it's a little bit different because there's different tunes, and again,
well, you're like the sound guy,
yeah,
like as in
sound
like the
man,
live sound guy, but you also own the system. I feel like that's not always the case. Is sometimes you got the guy who comes in and does sound for the venue, whatever it is, but
couldn't tell you exactly, other than I know now they all have, I'm sure there's bass. I don't know how heavy or what size drivers they're using in those rigs.
All of that. Yeah, all that stuff. And then one of the things I was thinking about too is you got people who are like super into vinyl and records and like hi-fi systems. And I mean, by all means, those systems can get loud. And I don't know if they're necessarily like horns and like loud in the same way, but is there any crossover there too with like people that are really into like that kind of sound system?
I mean, it's pretty expensive to buy the. I guess what we have. You know what I mean? So I don't know if, even if someone is a big time record collector, they could just have some badass monitors that would probably be full sound. I mean, get a sub on the floor, get some really nice studio monitors. And I'm sure you could, at least for a room like say like this, make the room sound nice. And so I don't know, if guys or gals want to really necessarily start to invest in amplifiers and drivers just to, make sure they're listening to their record.
People do though.
Okay, but fair enough.
I just mean like, there's this level of like gear lust that happens for sure with that.
Yeah.
But it's, I think one of them is more just for like maybe home listening, and one of them, like what you guys do, it's like, this is for performance. Like this is like, I'm sure you can
also
use
home
it.
listening.
I'm sure you can use it for home listening.
Oh my God,
too.
we use it all the time.
The best is when Patty gets a box of records in from overseas, and it's just like, hey, like we're done with dinner, and we've been sipping some wine. It's like let's twist one up and go down and listen.
And you have it on like 1% or something, like barely.
Yeah, we pretty much play it loud.
We have our own dance parties, like if we already had a couple bottles of wine, then it's like dub club by ourselves.
Yeah, because we could tell when we go upstairs and we see things on the floor and stuff. But
as in it's moving.
Yeah, it moved and fell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it just shakes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
The house.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, ultimately for myself, it's like, it's fun. It's exciting. It's great meeting new people. It's great traveling the world. It's
this is the vehicle.
Yeah. It's awesome to listen to new music. And we were just listening on the way, just like a new mix that somebody put out, and it's just kind of like constantly hearing new music. It's stuff that's out, like just brand new. So it's fun to learn and play it, and so ultimately it's fun.
And even we don't have that many friends here that are into the same music, but you're part of this worldwide community. So, like you still can connect with people, and we're living through the stuff that we see online, how their session went last night, how, like, oh, wow, like, we lived through that as well. It keeps us going, and we're doing our part here for Chicago. And then, and sometimes, we go and chase that for ourselves too. We need that. We need to also be part of the dance and not have to select. We also need to release that way as well.
Are there any like quick places you can point people towards? Like, is there like a good doc or like a good resource of some sort? Like any accounts to maybe just go follow? Like, these guys are the guys.
Well, there's a documentary called Musically Mad.
Okay.
That's
definitely adding that to the list.
You should. That's a good one.
Everybody should watch Rockers.
Oh yeah.
And
Rockers.
Babylon.
Yeah, right. Probably if you want to really kind of get introduction to sort of the Jamaica and the reggae scene of just like dudes just kind of, again, stars, legends, kind of just filming like a fun movie. It's called Rockers, Rockers. That is, do that first.
Okay.
And then you kind of just be like, oh.
Then you can move into Babylon.
Babylon's
which that
another
is
one. Yeah.
what happened, where the dub scene in London, and it's a movie, it's a story
Sound
about
systems,
oppression, racism, and Just Shaka is in there, so you can do that. And
Okay.
and then Musically Mad, I think, is a little bit more for like the current sound system vibe, and there's like some of the players that, some of the interviews there are just a bunch of, it's a UK, primarily a UK doc, but that's a good one. Just kind of really see like how sound system, what it's about, kind of.
in the vanguard of dub, right? Is that
Yeah.
is that Iration Steppas documentary?
Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, those are a few. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Rocker's a cool one. Musically Mad, that you can't go wrong there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just feel like it's important for people to see, like, what is that speaker system? That looks loud.
Yeah.
And cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just go up to your speaker system and just like literally be right next to it. Earplugs fully push in, just like I'm getting a massage.
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
I can't do that anywhere else.
No, they call it bass therapy.
Literally, you could just play a sine wave from really low to high and just like ring out your body. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
I would do it. If I had your system, I'd just be like, let's just try this out.
All right, yeah. Next time you come over.
Yeah, next time you come over, bring a USB and play your favorite
and your bass lines. Yeah.
Just my favorite tones. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Sorry, this one 442 is my fave right now.
Right.
You should invent a device you connect to that thing, and then you lay on it, and you just
the
vibrate.
full healing experience. You're gonna get a lot of healing through this.
I love it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's see. What else we got? I just want to make sure we cover all the bases here. And I did have some fun questions before you guys get out of here.
Sure.
I think we really covered a lot of my questions here. Let's move on to the fun questions, and then I have a wrap up, and we'll. Okay, so this is a question book that I've been using. My girlfriend bought it as like a icebreaker thing for her job a while ago, and I've just found it to be a fun thing.
Okay.
So anyway, there's 3,000 questions in here. Choose between 1 and 3,000.
724.
Okay, all right. And I do judge what number you choose. Sometimes people are very methodical about it.
1.
Ooh, are you psychic in any way? Patty's like, I think so.
That's a good question.
Like, are you like psychic and maybe like, I know what they're gonna play next? Not that it's got to be about music either.
Man, I'm trying to think of a concrete something I could point to. Geez. Yeah, I mean,
got that sixth sense.
Yeah, I guess something like that. Yeah, or you could kind of predict. I'm trying to selection, or maybe or even
I feel like you don't talk about it when you know, like you don't want things to happen.
I can almost like manifest something in a way, or like,
like you want to be like, let's just not let that.
It's like
manifest that.
Like a no hitter going on, you know.
Oh
yeah. Like you don't want to break the streak.
Yeah, but as far as psychic ability, I can't get in people's heads or kind of like read. I mean, I could feel like I could read people and see like kind of maybe sense trouble coming or if someone's not feeling right or something, like, hey, but I don't call that psychic, and it's maybe just be able to read somebody. Sure, I have some psychic abilities.
Patty, do you have any psychic abilities?
Not psychic ability. They're just kind of like psychic things, maybe premonitions that have happened. I had like one time I had a dream about someone dying and being at the funeral and been talking to specific people and doing specific things, and that happened 3 months later. The exact thing. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that was something. But yeah, no, psychic. No.
Okay.
Ghost is not the same as psychic, so.
We got some ghost stories.
I got some ghost stories.
Ooh. All right, well, maybe we save that for another day.
Right.
But I do, honestly, nothing more fun than ghost stories.
Yes.
Let's do one for you, and then we can...
Okay, I'll do 420. Has that been picked before?
Let me double check, because if I Oh, I like this one also. If you could ask your future self one question, what would it be?
Was it all worth it?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about your future self and being like, would I be proud of myself type of deal? I feel like I'm not good at like giving myself the praise, because when I do that exercise, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking doing cool shit. But in the moment, you're just like, we just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Kind of try to move like a shark like that. But
Nice.
But yeah, is it worth it? I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have a barometer right now that you could say that would be like the worth? Or
The worth.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have to go too deep either.
I think, like the longevity of happiness, right?
Like, did you enjoy it?
Yeah. How long can you be happy for by this or by doing this? Can you make you happy forever?
I feel like music is tough to beat. You know what I mean? Like food, also great. But hot take, I think if I could take food, like if I could just not have to eat, like here's a crazy trade-off that I think most people wouldn't do, is like if you just didn't have to eat, but then you couldn't taste food, but you would never have to eat. I think I might do it, but then I feel like I don't want to say that either, because I don't want that to happen to me.
Interesting.
Like COVID.
But it's just, I am like, man, then how much time would you save?
You're right.
But I mean, like...
Well, so again, I cook for a living, and, so I'll be going to Aspen soon, and Patty will make me a bunch of food, believe it or not. But she makes me food to take, which is very nice, because I get off work and I don't eat. I'll eat a bowl of cereal. I'm just like, I get home from work, I'm tired. The last thing, a lot of times I'm just kind of like, nope, not doing dinner. And I just lay down or whatever, puff some ganja and just kind of relax. So when I'm by myself, I kind of, you would think.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Are you forgetful, or you just kind of like aren't hungry?
No time. No, like you said, I have no time for it. I just
prepare it.
Yeah, no time.
Like just lazy.
And
me too.
Yeah. I mean, now if you were coming over for dinner tomorrow, it would be a whole different story. We'd have 6 courses.
But for himself, like he won't.
I like cook. Yeah, I like to cook for other people, I guess. I mean, occasionally.
Yeah.
Like occasionally. Like, if I have the, say I get cut early. Let's say I go into work and they're just like, yeah, you know what? Turns out we're out for lunch and dinner. Why don't you just go home? Like, whoa. And, I'm thinking I'm going to be coming home late, and now it's just my day's open. Well, maybe sometimes I'll go out, but let's say I do want to just go home, and let's say there's going to be, Patty's going to go live and, at 1:00 or something for 3 hours. I know I have like a little window. I will get some stuff but again, I kind of have to take it not to the maximum. Like I'm not putting little, garnishes and stuff, but like then it's like, okay, if I'm making a pasta or making meatballs or I'm making something, then it's just kind of like it's a 2 hour, 3 hour thing, But then I start sipping wine and
getting into it, adding some extra spices
for sure. Well, I have a hard time even cooking without starting to sip on a little wine. Just something about it just kind of activates me. But yeah, so
you're kind of all or nothing, it sounds like. And I feel like I'm kind of the same way. It's like either bowl of cereal or
right, but
whatever,
lasagna,
something really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like not a little buzz, it's like all the way.
Yeah.
You get a little like just conked out.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I'm with you there.
Very nice.
All right. Well, I think we've made it to the end.
All right.
I asked you in the start, what was your first concert, but I wanted to ask kind of what, like, we talked about a game-changing concert, which was, like one of those early sound system culture concerts, but like, what's another concert that was really a game changer for you?
I think honestly, it could. Maybe I might say actually International Dub Gathering, kind of seeing some of these big acts, like seeing Mark Iration for the first time, I think, and he basically closed down the whole entire festival. This was day, I think it's a 3-day festival, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was Sunday 4 a.m., lights on kind of thing, and I think he played the Gypsy Dub tune. And I just remember that, and this was on the Blackboard Jungle sound system out of France, which is basically 3 stacks of 6, so 18 bass speakers in the party.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and massive. I think they have 24 or something like that. But and hearing Mark Iration maybe for the first time was just kind of like, yeah, like this moment where it was so loud and so perfect and clean, and everybody's just the vibe. And I know that was, again, it could have been the thing that really changed it to be like, again, on the airplane, I remember just being like, all right, we got to do this. So for me, maybe like seeing Iration, at the closing of the IDG was kind of, it was really cool. Yeah.
For me, I must say, going to Sierra Nevada, and being at the dance hall, it was Stone Love Sound System.
Chuck's like,
he was there.
I was there. Yeah.
Stone Love Sound System out of Jamaica, with Tony Screw, also known as Downbeat the Ruler, Brigadier Jerry. And,
shout out Brigadier.
And Carlton Livingston and Ranking Joe passing the mic back and forth.
So that would be, and that would be a perfect example of sort of doing it in a dance hall style. So Tony Screw was actually passing the record to, I think whatever. He was basically playing the record. So he'd play the actual record of the song, then flip it to the instrumental, give it to Brigadier Jerry. He would do his thing. Then they would just pull it up and bring it right to the beginning again, and pass the mic to Carlton, and Carlton would do his thing. And again, we're talking like it's kind of
different styles,
too, yeah. And then
different voices,
and so it's like, and then each one, and then they even had like some young guy who was just very aggressive, and he was like, and it was like, so you would hear Carlton style, and they call it in a combination style, and so
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
combination style in like a pendulum track.
Yeah,
anyway.
So our first dub club was actually Carlton Livingston and Ranking Joe, and and it's exactly how we ran it, in a sense where you would play, they'd each get a chance at hitting the instrumental, but that was badass. I forgot about that session, and that was a kind of a life changer as well, just to be like, what? And the fact you heard of like people pulling up, like rewind or pull up. Sometimes he'd play a tune and he would pull it up like 5 times, like, you know what I mean?
God.
And it just like,
and it worked.
It
got more hype.
Yeah, or just kind of like, you'd be like, I can't, like,
we couldn't believe we were like right in the front. We couldn't and now even looking back and saying those names, it's like, what a privilege that we witness those 4 people on Stone Love's sound system.
Yeah, that was Sierra Nevada World Music Festival, and I don't even think it happens anymore. They were supposed to do it this year and they canceled. But that was another, I forgot about that. That was a good session. I was in Northern California, like Humboldt County or Mendocino or something. But that was a session too. Yeah.
It just sounds cool the way you described it. I'm not even that deep into the culture, but it makes me want to get into it.
I'm telling you, man, it'll change your life, man. Like, you go to some of these sessions, man, like in, UK or whatever, Europe, or even, I guess, come to one of our sessions, man. And we're doing it right here. So for anyone that's listening, come through. It'll open your eyes, man. You'll see something different. Maybe you won't get it. Maybe it's not for everybody, and not to say like you better pay attention to what they're saying and stuff like that. It's like, no, man, just kind of listen, feel the vibe, and just kind of come with an open mind, and I think you would really dig it.
Here's a fun one, just because I love talking about Jamaican slang.
Yeah.
Is there any slang that you hear when people are on mic that you're just like, what? I love when they say that, or just like, I've never heard that before. I don't know. I just like, people will say, like, producers will just add like Babylon or like something to a track, and it's like that much more hype for some reason. It's just like a Jamaican guy saying that. And even me, I'm guilty of being like, somehow I was into that.
Well, we like, we're not Rastas, although we love and appreciate the music that is made for Jah, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie. This is the foundation. He's the foundation of this music, and
really quick, actually, because I need a little education. Jah, and is that like a deity or is it a guy?
It's a guy.
It's a guy.
Haile Selassie, the emperor of Ethiopia.
Okay.
who came to Jamaica, and they had he was like a messiah. Like there was a king from Africa that was going to come and liberate them, and he came and sort of like gave them the, like welcome them back to Ethiopia, because at the end, a lot of people all over the world want to go back to Africa. A lot of the black people
That
were taken,
land,
they
right?
were taken from their land and want to go back home. So, so it's about him. So we're not Rastas. We don't speak patois.
Yeah, we don't pretend to speak it.
Do you have to smoke weed?
No.
Isn't it part of religion?
Well, there,
it is.
but again, we're not Rastas, so we're not like bumbleclot or nothing like that, We just,
and we try not to, because it's like it would be poser style,
Like,
for us, like
yeah.
like it's like, and there's a lot of sound systems out there that are also, King Tubby was not Rastafari. He didn't have dreadlocks. And a lot of sound systems out there that are not necessarily Rastafaris. They love the music. They don't have dreadlocks. They love the message.
I grew up religious and just sort of, I don't know. I still think there's a higher being. And so if you're praising God, but what's wrong with that? I already
did confirmation and baptism.
You're locked in.
I'm locked in,
You're
like I can't, like...
Yeah.
Go back now.
But again, respect all cultures.
Yeah, and I think it's honestly just even saying that, it's clear that there's a respect for it.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody has to have faith in something. I do believe in miracles. I do believe in the power of prayer. Especially like in a community, there's so many things that have healed people that have, I prayed myself for things that have helped me through life. So I do believe in that. I do think that people have, been detached from that, the connection to a higher being, which at the same time, it could be you, it could be your mind, and how powerful our mind is. Maybe we are God, but I think people have lost that connection to Earth too, and all of that is connected. Universe, Earth, us as being animals, plants, everything. We've lost that, and that's because we're in this concrete jungles and looking at on our phone, listening and not really.
Bad. Yeah.
So even meditation, like
right,
connecting with oneself.
And the music, and through such a powerful medium of like a big speaker system, it can feel, like religious sometimes. In a sense. You're just like appreciating. I've always said that like dance is like the prayer to like the music, and it's like doesn't really matter what that's so vague. There's no specific God in that.
Yeah,
but like
I get it.
Yeah. I'm also kind of like out there. I'm like, there's aliens that came down. No, I don't know. I just think it's fun to believe in. But like,
we are open to a lot of. We don't know, right? I think we love history. Yeah. We are open to that
fun.
Type of,
and like, because like mythology, too. Like, were those stories or did that happen?
Right?
Who knows?
Well, I mean,
and also being Greek too. Like,
I love that Greek mythology stuff.
Yeah. Well, even again in like the Aztecs and Mayans, they had a calendar, well before the civilizations or
and talked about beings coming from the sky,
or just even again, or just
feather
like
serpent,
right?
Which the Minoans had in Greece.
Quetzalcoatl, or what's his name?
Quetzalcoatl.
And then there's also
Kukul's Clan.
I think it's
but it's the different
Mayan and Aztec.
Yeah.
Yes, I went to Chichen Itza.
Likewise, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Anyways, so
I played at the pace of Teotihuacan actually.
I played at the pyramids, by the pyramids.
That's the most baller shit I've ever heard of.
Chux crash.
Well, I was gonna say something might actually. I'll find the picture that might top that.
He was the first one to scratch.
I brought a portable turntable
because it just came out.
I don't know if you've seen these little portable turntables. I'll show you a picture.
We brought a little like the boom.
A jam, like a Bluetooth speaker, so to speak, but it plugged in with the auxiliary cable.
Nice.
And I started scratching on top of the
sun pyramid
of the sun, Teotihuacan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I feel like, so do they let you still go up there? Because I
No,
know
they
some
don't.
places they don't even let
And
you do it.
So we stayed at this 300-year-old property with real Teotihuacan people, Teotihuacanos, our family, and they are like the main family of the town, sort of like a mayor, you know. So now they're in control. The Teotihuacanos are in control over the archaeological explorations that are happening at the pyramids, which as before, other archaeologists could come from all over the world, and you know, things would go missing and like things like that. So now
Shout out Tacho.
archaeology, shout out to Tacho. So archaeology is being taken care of by Mexican archaeologists, and they're sort of in control of that, and they're able to go down under the pyramids and things like that. And he said they found rivers of mercury down there as well.
Tacho's father, so that an elder who I met literally was saying that in that pyramid there's pools of mercury and people don't want to listen, or I don't know, like nobody knows, or
and that it was a charging station for aliens. And these people don't have like History Channel or like
I know
all of that stuff. So he's saying
That's
that it's like we come from the skies, and they've seen orbs, they've seen all kinds of things.
What do you get? Oh, actually, I don't want to date this just because there's like stuff going on right now with aliens.
Yeah.
Just whatever. I don't know.
Drones or whatever.
But I'm so with this. One of my friends is really into this right now, and I've always thought it would be, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
And
well, the leap of evolution is another thing too.
right. I believe, I don't know. I mean, like, I want to believe that like maybe we were imbued with some kind of like alien DNA.
Yeah.
What if? That would be crazy. I mean, also, you know, these shows, they always, people are gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? But there's these shows where they'll be like, yeah, here's the pyramid, and then we have like technology to look what's underneath, and there's like 2 other pyramids underneath it. There's like all this shit underneath it, and you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
They were advanced, man. Yeah. And
Mercury Rivers? That sounds nuts.
straight from the man's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Don't know what, and again, nobody can explain it or what it's for, why, but
That sounds dangerous too. I don't know.
But you know, then there's also Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has appeared in many podcasts and little reels and things like that, saying that if there were really aliens, how come we only have fuzzy recordings of them, and everybody has amazing phones nowadays with great cameras and lenses, and you still have this like grainy images. So why is that happening?
there's no proof, right? There's no actual physical proof. I mean,
no, when it comes to the drone stuff too, it's like, I really do believe it's just the government trying to like distract us from something. But that also is kind of unrelated to just like the potential that aliens were here at some point. Maybe they're not here right now, and maybe that's why we've never seen them. But there is stuff in our like in the scriptures and the on the wall of temples. There's all kinds of weird
also,
stuff.
We do know that there has been, you know, at least like 5 mass extinctions, right? Like through meteor to kill the dinosaurs, floods.
This is podcasting.
And you know, in ice ages, like for sure, you know. So like, how many times has the Earth died over and over, and how many times have humanoid people like been wiped off the Earth?
I know, yeah. Like the people had technology that we don't have. They probably had better sound systems, dude.
Yeah.
flowing with mercury, absolutely.
Floating pyramid sound systems.
Yeah.
Okay, just so I'm gonna reel it back in, just because I don't want people to be like, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah.
But let's wrap this guy up.
Cool.
I always do shout outs, like anyone that has just been like pivotal in helping you guys out, or just like someone you want to shout out. You know, you don't have to list the whole world, but like, is there anyone on your journey?
Well, I think we can start with the people in our crew. Like Bob Davis, he's been a really big help for us. and of course NSW.
Yeah, the NSW homies. For me, my man Lord Dubious, my man Graduate. They've kind of put me on to the whole reggae thing. Shout out to my phonograph scientist homies, J Mars, Toltec, Sapien. Shout out to all the sound systems. Our Midwest homies, man. We do work with Spook Audio and Headway. Shout out to everyone, all the kind of all our Sicilian boys and whatnot. So Matty Tuff and Francesco and his whole family. West Coast homies, the East Coast homies. Too many to name, but yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And shout out to Juice and Mary. We couldn't do this without you as well, and all of our friends and supporters.
Yeah. Shout out to you for putting us on, man. Big up, Jerry.
No, thank you guys for coming through. Seriously.
No, this has been fun, man. This has been fun.
This is a treat for me.
Cool.
So I appreciate it.
Good.
And then in terms of where can people find you, and if people want to go to a Beatdown show, how do they find that?
I think our Instagram page is probably the best. That's we're kind of most active on. It's Facebook as well, but Beatdown_sound system. It's probably the best. You could on every other Sunday. There you would find out. Patty plays on the radio. Or Kinky. What's your Kinky P420?
Selectress Kinky P on Instagram. And I play on RioRootsRadio.net every 2 weeks.
But the Instagram page is probably the best to get all the information. You can see past shows. We have links to sound mixes on SoundCloud and Mixcloud. And then usually our future shows kind of pop up there first. And as of right now, there's nothing booked for the rest of this year. A few things popping up next year, but nothing to really announce. Nothing in January or anything yet. Please check us out. Please come. Everyone's welcome. We don't care what you look like, who you worship or whatever, man. It's
if you believe in aliens,
right. But no, please, man, it's a cool little community we sort of built here. Everyone respects each other, and it's fun. Play good music, and I think people will dig it.
Oh yeah. Just go follow them. That's how you'll figure stuff out. Come on, you know how the internet works. Please appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. And if you guys made it this far, we appreciate you. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Big up. Peace.
Much love.
Peace. Yo, what's up, guys? This is your host, Jerry. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. If there's someone you'd like to see on the show, leave a comment below. I read them. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, we'd appreciate it if you leave a review and hit that 5-star rating. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one.